Happy Sunday, guys! You are all welcome to today's video. Every Sunday, as we all know by now, hopefully, we read books, we give review of books based, faith-based books that will help us. I do the reading and review, not really like reading, but the summary. Okay, so it's been so wonderful for the past 2 Sundays now. This is the third Sunday. And it's so wonderful that I've been thinking maybe we should just continue this thing even after the challenge because this is supposed to be the second to the last one. The next one is supposed to be the last ball. I've been enjoying these books. Oh my god, these books, I've been really enjoying them, and I'm thinking, why not just continue to be posting reviews of books every Sunday? Anyways, we'll see. I'm not promising anything, but we'll see how the Lord will permit, how the Lord will help us. The Lord will surely help us because it's not easy. I kept to my promise last week. I said we'll be reading a book about sex. So I kept to my promise, and here we are. Voila! Let's get right into it. So today's book is titled Sexmatics. Hey, the mathematics of sex. It is written by Opeyemi Akintunde. I hope I did not stutter the name. Chapter 1. The author says that her relationship with maths is rather that she enjoys maths. That means like to say she loves maths would just be to say the least. She enjoys mathematics. So there is no equation that was too hard or complex for her growing up. Figures and symbols were like ABC to her. However, as gifted as she was in maths, she wasn't aware of the math of intimacy. That is 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 equals to 1. Miss Beauty is her name. She begins her story by saying that her first encounter was around 8 years old. That's when she was first introducing to sex. So that's when she first started sleeping around. And it was introduced to her by their house help, who was notorious for helping herself with objects or with boys. And she was doing it with boys on the streets, and then they were watching she would invite the boys over to the house, and then they'll be watching it on the TV. She used to hide and peep and watch it with them, since they would not allow her to come in the living room and watch it all together because she was young, obviously. So at 13 years, she finally had the chance to practice everything that she was watching. So she got her first boyfriend, and after practicing it with him for some while, or for the first time, she got tired of him, and she kept on watching more and more corrupt videos, and then she started looking for somebody else. And just like her name, she was very beautiful, and that made it even worse because she was hard to resist. So by the time she was over with secondary school, she had successfully slept with 75 boys or men in her school from all classes. That means the staff, even the on those staff, she had slept with over 75 men. So fast forward to after graduation, she was awaiting admission into the university, and then she became very bored at home. So as she started living in the house, and then she was on holiday, so there were no more boys. She had to start looking for new boys now in her area. This she led her to find a married man, and that married man was their neighbor. So at times when the married man was living in the house, his wife would go for work, and he was a house husband. So as the wife would go for work, he would be in the house alone. So he would invite Beauty over, and then they would do it on his matrimonial bed. 2 months in, she started having weird dreams of dead people making out with her in the night in her dreams. So this made her to wake up always scared, sweaty, and worn out, very, very tired. Her mom, on the other hand, was very, very busy to notice all her doings, but she noticed that she was losing weight. And so one day she called her daughter, like, what's going on? She said, we are going to the hospital tomorrow. So fast forward to when she said that she was not even scared because she knew that she could not get pregnant. But her mother was suspecting that maybe she was pregnant, because she knew she could not get pregnant because she was a pro. She was a pro at that. She always took her drugs, make sure she knew it very well. She mastered it very well. So she was convinced that she could not get pregnant. So she was not even afraid to go to the hospital. But when her mother took her to the hospital, the doctor, of course, the pregnancy tests were negative, but her blood pressure was unusually high for a teenager. So the doctor advised her mom to really take look into her and see into her activities. Now the doctor had some time to speak with her, and she complained to the doctor that she's having nightmares, that dead men are sleeping with her in her dream, and she wakes up very tired. So the doctor now advised the mom that, look into this your child, look, there is something going on, look into this your child. As I said earlier, the mom is busy, so she just basically took the pills to make her sleep, and then took some drugs to calm down her high blood pressure and high blood level and pressure. So they went back to the house. The pills made her to sleep more, which elongated, or which increased the time that the dead people had to sleep with her. So the thing worsened the situation. She became even more tired when she woke up, because she had been sleeping with dead people for long. As the situation worsened, they went back again to the hospital. Chapter 2. The doctor was very angry with her mom, that I told you that you should look into this girl's issue, but now her situation is too worse. You need to seek for spiritual help. So the doctor advised the mom to look for spiritual help. Her mom then took her to a prophet, and the prophet revealed that she had gotten the spirits through sex. Hey, her mom wanted to go gaga. Her mom was very angry. You can imagine the shock on her mother's face. Her mother was not believing it. Her mother asked her, the prophet forced her to tell the truth, that say the truth to your mom. When she finally confessed that yes, it is true, she had actually slept with over 70. Hey, her mother just collapsed. It took like 5 minutes to resuscitate her. The prophet gave her a verse to read. It was 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 16. And he was saying that when you sleep with a prostitute, you are one with the prostitute. And that was why she had acquired all the demons from the people she had been sleeping with. That is what is sometimes referred to as the soul tie covenant. When you sleep with someone, as the prophet was explaining, not only are you joining your physical bodies with them, but you are equally welding your souls with that person. And what this means is that whatever is operational in their bodies start being made manifest in the sexual partner's life. The prophet further explained that the reason this challenge is coming up now is because the negative effect of her previous sexual encounters were hidden effects, but this one is more it has come to light. It is more pronounced because the spirit of the grave is a very wicked and impatient spirit, so it manifests la. Now the prophet suggested that she live in the church for 40 days for fasting and praying to deliver her. They found a way to, however, convince her dad without telling him the truth about why she was supposed to leave the house. So her mother dropped her off the following day in church, and the fasting was, they started the fasting. The fasting was very difficult for her, as she was saying. Chapter 3. It was around 8:30 p.m. when the church concluded their evening service. She said it was a perfect opportunity to escape. She joined the crowd as they were leaving from church to escape. After about 15 minutes of walking aimlessly, she then realized how stupid her action or her decision was, because she had been moving without money on her, so she did not know how to go back, and then she couldn't return home too because she had no money, and her mom would bring her back to the church the following day, and she did not want to continue the fasting. As she continued walking, she met a man that was like, this was in the night, so she met a man. He was like, how much? 1,000 francs per night. This proposed money to sleep with her. And for a minute she thought, man, this thing that I've been doing for free, that means it can actually become a business. So she was just, and then she remembered how they had taught them in school about economics, about money and the bargaining power. So she told the man, no, 10,000. And the man was like, only for 15 minutes, 10,000. Then how much will you be charging for the whole night? So she was like, I am a pro at this. For the whole night, you will pay me even more. She was like, okay. The man was like, okay, you sound so convincing. So we are going to do it first. If you satisfy me well, I'm going to pay you your 10K. But if I'm disappointed, I will just give you 3,000 francs. So they agreed, and then at the end, the man gave her 10K. And she was like, and another business idea came to her mind, like, if you have other friends too that are willing, you can link me up. And the man was like, this very night, you are not tired? She was like, no, she's not tired. So the man was like, okay, just be patient. The man called for his other friends, and they came and had whatsoever they had. They slept together, all of them, and they arranged for a huge amount of money. I've forgotten the amount. She said in the process of doing that, she saw the way dark smoke was being exchanged between them. And before they even started, I forgot that she mentioned that the man bought her food and bought her energy drink. So she was too high to even stop or whatsoever. She continued and continued and continued and continued. And then the following morning, they discovered that one of the men that they were doing their business with was lifeless. Chapter 4. She immediately knew that the spirit of death that was working in her had claimed that man's life. They tried all they could to bring that man back to life, to no avail. So they just ran. Everybody was just running. But her, before running, she said she decided to steal, that she had never ever stolen in her life. But all of a sudden, it's just as if somebody was leading her to where the valuable things in that room was, and money. So it's just like she knew where they were. She was just going exactly to the place and taking them and stealing them. She put laptops, wristwatches, money, value, and other valuable things before running out. As she was running, she met a man who told her to go back to church. Now she was scared, and then she turned to be going back, but the voice in her rebuked her and commanded her to follow his instructions instead. She was obviously surprised because it was the first time she was hearing a voice within herself. The voice introduced himself as the god of one of the men she had just slept with, and that he helps the man by showing him exactly where money is, and that he had been looking also for a female host for a very long time. So he was very happy to be in her. So the voice ordered her to enter a certain church and explain the problem to the man that she would meet there. That means the voice redirected her to another church. Chapter 5. She walked into the church and met a man seated on an old-looking chair. So the man was busy watching a movie, and the sound from the movie was very familiar. She was too familiar with porn sounds that she could recognize them whenever someone around her was watching it. Then a girl came out and she called the pastor a kind of a funky name. She was like, Pasty. And as he turned to say goodbye to the girl, he noticed then her presence. So all this sounded very strange to her, but she just obeyed the demon in her and explained to her problem to the pastor, saying that if he could help deliver her, she would give him even 50k. Now she did not go into the details because the demon restricted her not to say too much. Then the pastor told her that it would be a sexual deliverance because his sperms are holier. So as she was trying to make sense out of it and trying to put one of two together, because it really sounds strange, she had never heard something like that before, the demon just interrupted and took over her. She was shouting at her, but what is she thinking? What is she still waiting for? She said she did not even realize when her hand started removing her clothes, and then the pastor or the pastor had his way with her. And after that, she felt empty, she felt depressed, she felt like she wanted to die. Now, as she was just lying there, the pastor shamelessly asked for his payment. And as she was looking like that, the spirit of anger again, in those spirits took over her again, and she fought with the pastor. The pastor held her neck, and was trying to kill her, that give my money and this. She called the pastor's name, and the pastor started being scared, like, who are you? Started trying to kill her. How do you know my name? The forces, the demon in her just gave her strength. They just took over, and then she held the pastor, jammed the pastor against the wall, and the pastor just fell down there, dead. Then when she came back now to her senses, the demons were telling her, you have to run, because if they meet you here, you will go to prison, and I still need you for more assignments. Chapter 6. She ran, hoping to escape from the voice within her. She thought that it was something she could just escape from. She was running in the opposite direction, that's going back towards the church, opposite to where the demon had asked her to go. So she ran away, but a migraine came calling. That means frontal headache. Migraine is frontal headache now. A migraine kept calling, and the more she took steps away from the instructions of the demons, the more the migraine was severe. So she just had to succumb to the spirit asked her to go and meet a certain pregnant woman that they spotted. And because she delayed to go and meet her, this pregnant woman was about to take a taxi, or it's a bike, or it's a keke. And then as she was up, she just took it and left. As she left, the spirit became angry that you had asked you to do something and you have not done it. Now the pregnant woman has gone. I'm going to punish you. She said she started feeling like worms were walking all over her body. She started itching herself and started misbehaving in public. So quickly she called for a bike and asked the bike to just follow the taxi that the woman had taken. And when the bike followed and reached, the demon asked her to go and meet the woman and tell her a pathetic story that will make her to accept her into her home. And as she was looking at the woman, she greeted the woman. She noticed that the woman was wearing a cross. So she just cooked up a story about how she's a Muslim, but she converted to Christianity, but her Muslim family wanted to kill her. So she rapidly ran out of the house with what she could take and run with. And now she's begging, please, if she could allow her stay in the house. For the sake of time, I would like you to go and read the book to see how careless, to read the conversations that they took, to see how careless the woman was. Because the woman just accepted her like that, and then even cooked up a lie to tell her husband together with her. The woman was careless. So go read the book and you will have deeper insight. Chapter 7. They got to her house and they met her husband waiting impatiently for her. Obviously, the man was angry that she went out and she stayed for long. So when he noticed the girl and asked who is this girl, they told him the story that they had planned to cook up and tell him. So she had to now stay there. As she was wondering what her assignment in that house could be, because they gave her a room and they asked her to freshen up before dinner. So the voice in her spoke to her again. Better freshen up, because you have an assignment in this house and it is to sleep with her husband, and you have less than 3 days to do that. So the spirit started now telling her what to do and all of that. She was reluctant because the woman was very good to her, and she was like, why? But she had to obey the spirit because she did not want her migraine or the spirit wahala. So as she was freshening up to go and bathe, the spirit now took over her. She tied only her towel on her chest and went to the living room to ask the man for, I think it was soap or whatsoever. But now she said she literally felt somebody drag the towel from her body, and her body was put on display for this man's pleasure. When she came back to her senses, she ran back into the room. Now like this, it was very clear to her that her body was no longer her own body, but that she was being controlled. So she did not know whether the man liked it or whether what was happening. But later on, when the woman came to her room to say, oh, my husband said you were looking for me and this and this and this, and that gave her some clothes to wear, it dawned on her that the husband actually did not even tell the man, his wife, why she came or what really happened. So when she freshened up, she went for dinner. The woman was just doing her own things, and then she was having dinner alone with the man on the dining table. And after the dinner, she went back, she slept. She was thinking about what had happened for the past 24 hours. It was not even up to 24 hours. She was thinking about what had happened, how she had killed the man, how now she has to destroy this home. And she was just lying on her bed. Then suddenly, she heard a knock on the door, open up. And although she was reluctant to open up, the spirit took control again over her. She just went and opened up the door, and as she met the man, they just started doing what they were doing there. And that is how, after they did it, it was now 2:17 a.m. The spirit asked her to just get up and go, and she was like, where would she go to? The spirit was like, open the gate and go. The spirit told her where the key was and told her to obey his instructions. So she opened the gate and went. Chapter 8. As she was going, she heard a voice call out to her from behind. And because she was fed up and she was thinking about that, the voice, she was just going. When meanwhile a man was calling for her, and the man threatened her like, if you don't stop, I will shoot you now. And she was like, people should better shoot me because I'm tired, I want to die. But the voice within her now spoke, why do you want to die when I've not finished using you? Like, you cannot die, turn around. And so she just turned around. As they approached, she noticed that it was not only one person, and she also noticed that there were street boys who were just around the quarter, and they were raping people and stealing and so on and so forth. She said that she was a sex addict, but for the first time in her life, she sincerely did not want to have sex because the boys were looking dirty, they were looking scattered, that she had been having sex with all kind of people, but no, not dirty, not scattered. And the demon in her told her, you have to transmit this thing, because so you need to have sex with them, so you need to transmit, we need to have to infect as many people as possible, so you need to transmit this thing. She tried to resist, but the boys pinned her down and had their way. There were 12 of them in number, and 3 of them raped her twice, but she said she was not even tired. She said one thing that consoled her is that she was, however, happy that these boys that have been raping innocent girls, she had transmitted the spirit of death and so on and so forth into them. So she was now, for the first time, she was like, maybe she has done good to humanity, because these guys now, they'll have all sorts of spirits in them now. So when they were done, she just laid there, and the spirit, she wanted to get up, but the spirit instructed her that no, she should just lie there. He has a different plan. So she lay there almost naked. The morning was coming, people were passing, and some people were mocking at her, others were having pity on her. Then came a boss. Now this boss, as they highlighted, there was a lady got down to help her and then called for the others' attention. So the woman was like, no, let me help. When the second woman came out to help her, it's like she had a sweet vision how the girl that was on the floor, that's this beauty that is saying her story, was plugging, was harvesting all the things that they had planted. She came and started harvesting, as in she was destroying them. So the other woman who saw had the vision called her aside and be like, see, please wait a bit before you are you want to help her, because I've seen something. Ladies and gentlemen, I am really very sorry. Have people seen the time? God, I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to post part 2 next week. So I'm really not a fan of part 1, part 2, and so on, but I cannot really do otherwise in this case. If people see now, I cannot really do otherwise next in this case. Let us meet ourselves next week Sunday for. Thank you so much for listening. This is a very interesting story, so I don't want to rush it, choke it up, so that it should enter inside one video. I don't want to choke it up. It's a very, very interesting story. The later part is even more interesting. As I hope to see you in my next video. Maranatha, Jesus is coming soon.